This is the High Voltage Business Builders Podcast, daily intelligence for serious e-commerce portfolio builders across Amazon, TikTok Shop, Shopify, Walmart, and every channel that moves the needle. Neil Twa and his Voltage team all day, every day since 2012. Let's get into it.
Solid Tuesday to you, wherever you're tuned in. Episode 286 of the High Voltage Business Builders Podcast. And look, the headline I'm reading this morning is from Business Insider. An 8-figure Amazon seller is out here saying it has never been easier to get started. $2,000. That's the number they're throwing around as a launch budget. Seriously? $2,000 to start a brand on the largest e-commerce platform on the planet? I'll be honest. My first reaction was skepticism. My second reaction was, actually, they might not be wrong. Let's get into it. Look, $2,000 to launch a brand sounds like a headline designed to get clicks. And yeah, it is. But underneath it, there's something real worth talking about. Here's the thing. When I left my W-2 at IBM back in 2007, building a brand from scratch meant warehouses, wholesale accounts, a website you paid a developer to build, and a prayer that someone would find you. The infrastructure didn't exist. You were building the road while driving on it. Amazon changed that. Completely. The platform gives you logistics, it gives you customer service, it gives you a built-in audience of hundreds of millions of buyers who already have a credit card on file and want to buy something today. You are not building traffic from zero. That's not nothing. That is actually enormous. So, when an 8-figure seller says $2,000 is enough to start, what they're really saying is this. The cost of entry has dropped because you're borrowing Amazon's infrastructure. You don't need to own the warehouse. You don't need to build the audience. You need to find the right product, source it, get it in front of the right buyers, and execute. Now, $2,000 is tight. I want to be straight with you. That number works if you pick the right niche, manage your first inventory order carefully, and don't blow money on things that don't move product. Cash flow discipline from day one matters more at $2,000 than it does at $200,000. You have no margin for waste. But is it possible? Yes. Is it easy? That depends entirely on the decisions you make in the first 30 days. Sellers at every level started somewhere. The ones still here made smart early moves. That's what we're going to break down. Let me tell you about 2 sellers I've watched up close, because the contrast between them tells you everything. First seller comes in with about $1,800 saved up, works a day job, does this on the side in the evenings, spends 2 weeks researching a niche, not just browsing, actually studying the data, finds a product in a category with real demand and manageable competition, orders a small first batch, writes a listing that actually describes the product clearly and speaks to what the buyer wants, ships to FBA, runs a small focused ad budget to get initial velocity. First 30 days, not fireworks, but sales, steady, real margin, reinvests everything back in. 6 months later, doing $10,000 a month. A year later, well past $20,000 a month. $2,000 turned into a real business. Second seller, same budget, roughly, but they skipped the research because they had a gut feeling about their product. Ordered too much inventory on the first run. Wrote a listing that read like a product spec sheet nobody asked for. Didn't touch ads because they figured Amazon would just find them organically. 3 months later, sitting on dead inventory and wondering why the algorithm wasn't working in their favor. Yeah, because the algorithm rewards sales velocity, not hope. The difference between those 2 sellers is not talent. It is not budget. Both had about the same $2,000. The difference is one of them treated this like a real business from the first decision, and one of them treated it like a lottery ticket. I've seen this at every scale. The habits that make $2,000 work are the same habits that make $2 million work. Discipline, data, and not falling in love with your product before the market tells you it loves it back.
Are you AI ready in your business? AI only multiplies the foundation you've already built. Don't 10x garbage into your business. 10x your profit. Score your gaps in 60 seconds. Find out how ready you are. Visit voltagedm.com/AI quiz and take the free readiness quiz. And now, back to the podcast.
All right, 3 moves. Whether you have $2,000 or $200,000, these apply. Move 1. Pick your niche before you pick your product. I know that sounds backwards to some people. Most new sellers find a product they like and then look for a market. Flip it. Find a category with real buyer demand, manageable competition, and room for a new brand to differentiate. Then find a product that fits that category. This is boring research work. It is also where most of the money gets made or lost before you spend a single dollar on inventory. Do not skip this. Move 2. Start small on inventory, on purpose. With a tight budget, your first order is a test, not a commitment. You want to validate that your listing converts, that your price point works, and that buyers actually want what you're selling. Order the minimum viable quantity to get real data. Yes, your per unit cost will be higher. That's fine. You're paying for information. Once the data confirms demand, scale up. I've watched sellers blow their entire budget on a big first order because they were confident. Confidence is not data. Move 3. Treat cash flow like oxygen from day one. At $2,000, you have no buffer. Every dollar that goes out needs a plan for coming back, and then some. That means knowing your landed cost, your FBA fees, your ad spend, and your margin before you list anything. Not after, before. If the math doesn't work on paper before you launch, it definitely won't work when you're staring at a depleted bank account and a warehouse full of product. These 3 moves work at $2,000. They also work at $200,000. The discipline is the same. Here's what I want to leave you with. That Business Insider headline is not wrong. It really has gotten easier to start. Amazon's infrastructure, the access to global sourcing, the tools available today, none of that existed in 2007 when I walked away from my corporate job and figured this out the hard way. The barriers are lower now. The opportunity is real, but lower barriers to entry also means more competition. More sellers chasing the same $2,000 dream. The ones who build something real are the ones who treat it like a business from the first decision, not the first sale. If you're sitting at 0 and wondering if this is real, it is. If you're already selling and trying to figure out how to scale past where you're stuck, the answers are usually in the fundamentals you skipped on the way up. That's what we do at Voltage. 13 years of helping sellers at every level build real, sustainable e-commerce businesses. Not theory, not courses filmed in 2019 that someone is still selling. Operator-led, current, and built on what actually works right now. If you want to know where your business stands and what the next real move is, go to voltagedm.com and take the AI quiz. It takes a few minutes and gives you a straight answer on where you are and where to go next. Thanks for spending part of your Tuesday with us. This show drops every day, and we'll see you back here tomorrow on the next episode of the High Voltage Business Builders podcast. That's a wrap on today's episode. If you're trying to figure out where AI actually fits in your business and where to invest before bolting it on top, head over to voltagedm.com/AI quiz. 5 questions, 60 seconds, a personalized AI readiness score, and an instant foundation gap report. Built for operators, not AI tourists. We'll be back tomorrow with another edge. Until then, stay high voltage.